Hi, welcome to Mastery Muse. Today I want to give you two keys to break free from our self-imposed mental prisons. These prisons start to exist the moment we begin to identify too much with either our emotions or our performance. And these prisons limit our ability to reach mastery and have extraordinary achievements. Let's start with the emotions, but first I want to say thank you to new subscribers. This channel has grown so much. I know I promised you a salsa dance when we reach 500. Just give me a couple of days to dig out my salsa outfit, okay? Now let's get started with the emotions. It's astonishing how many people allow their emotions to dictate their lives and the choices they make. But I'm not surprised. The world we live in constantly bombards us with the messages that reinforce the idea that our feelings should lead the way. We hear cliches like, follow your heart, go with the flow, live in the moment, your heart knows the way, choose happiness, and be true to your feelings.
What does your heart tell you?
Even our language reinforces the connection between our identities and our feelings. We use the exact same formula to state our emotions as we do to claim our identities. I'm a doctor, I'm a mother, I'm an extrovert. I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm furious. If we're not careful, it's easy to start believing that our feelings or emotional states always point us in the right direction, like a life's compass. However, shouldn't a compass be a little bit more stable, don't you think? To illustrate the points I'm about to make, I want to share a quote by Mark Manson, the author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. Decision making based on emotional intuition without the aid of reason to keep it in line pretty much always sucks. You know who bases their entire lives on their emotions? 3-year-old kids and dogs. You know what else 3-year-olds and dogs do? Shit on the carpet. Do you really want to use that as a life compass? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not asking you to disregard your feelings entirely, but following your feelings and honoring your emotions does not mean following them blindly. It means recognizing them for what they are and being able to reflect on what they're trying to say and why they are there. To me, that's what listening to your feelings truly means. Recognizing their nature, intensity, frequency, and the reasons behind them. Their nature, for example, are you angry, are you disappointed, are you afraid? Anger usually covers a lot of other more complex emotions. Their intensity, are you angry or just irritated or maybe furious? By expanding your vocabulary there, you're going to unlock a wider range of your emotions and also understand them better. Frequency. Is it a one-time thing or do you always feel the same thing at the same time or because of the same reason? Maybe your environment is triggering some emotions and once you discover that, you're able to change that. And the reason behind that. Well, I already gave them in the previous examples, but be careful because usually the first reason that your brain serves is often not the real reason why you're actually feeling something. That's why it's very important to be able to self-reflect and start this thinking process. Only by starting it, you already create some distance between you, your identity, and your emotions. Here are some questions to help you with this process. What am I really feeling? Am I angry, hurt, disappointed, jealous, or just tired? What does this feeling want to tell me? Is this feeling helpful or not? Do I feel this way more often? How would I like to feel instead? Now I know how I feel. What am I going to do about it? Just naming your feelings differently can already change the way you respond to a situation. For example, before a big presentation or an important job interview, are you petrified? Are you scared? Are you just a little bit worried? Or are you excited? I got the feeling. Instead of following your emotions blindly, take a moment to identify the feeling that you have. And just by doing that, you already distance yourself from it a little bit and create a space for more proactive response instead of purely reacting to your feelings. This way, instead of having your feelings control you, you get in control of your feelings and you start detaching your identity from them. This is the first step to letting you improve a lot of aspects in your life. The key to break free from this mental prison of identifying with your emotions is self-reflection. Now let's dive into the second aspect of how we mentally imprison ourselves, and that's by connecting our identities with our performance, with our results and outcomes of our actions. A lot of people bring this attitude in life: if I fail, I am a failure. Or if I fail, I am not talented, smart, or good enough. These are like the basic ways how we connect our identity to the outcomes. And this is very, very destructive. Let me explain you how. Imagine you have a very important exam in 3 months. A natural thing to do would be to plan the study sessions in advance and really diligently prepare to this exam, because maybe some future step in your development or career depends on you passing this exam. Now, here's the trick. If you believe that you are smart and you're intelligent because always everybody told you that you are, then you should easily pass this exam, right? What happens if you don't? Well, that could mean that maybe you're not as smart or not as intelligent as you thought or others thought. So this possibility of you failing the exam becomes a direct threat to your identity. Your brain wants to protect your identity, so it doesn't want you to put you in this situation. So what happens? You get into the subconscious mechanism of procrastination. You let the time pass, and then 2 days before the exam, you start cramming. And then if you fail the exam, well, you simply can say you didn't have enough time. It's nothing to do with you being smart or intelligent. Had you only had more time, you would have nailed it, right? Can you see how silly that is? Because the only person who's actually hurting and suffers the consequences of this mechanism is you. So, what is a different approach? In psychological research, this idea of identifying too much with our performance is known as the fixed mindset, and that stands in contrast to the growth mindset. These terms originated from the research of American psychologist Carol Dweck, who discovered that some children approached challenges with curiosity. They did not mind experiencing failures and were eager to try new things. Other children avoided such opportunities and they tried to protect their identity. So every challenge or test posed a threat to that, because then if they failed, they wouldn't be able to call themselves smart or talented anymore. Both of these concepts, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset, they sound like either or, but in fact they form a continuum. And how much exactly you exhibit the traits of a growth mindset versus fixed mindset could depend on different aspects of your life. These two concepts have been extensively researched, and Andrew Huberman, the professor of neurobiology at Stanford University of Medicine, considers the growth mindset to be one of the most fascinating and powerful concepts in all of psychology. He defines it as follows. Growth mindset is essentially a way of embracing challenge and thinking about your bodily and brain's response to challenge in a way that lets you optimize your performance. Growth mindset consists of many things, but some of the key features of growth mindset are developing the ability to distance your identity from the challenge you happen to be embracing. So, how can you distance your identity from the challenges you're facing? Well, the first step is to start noticing how you talk about yourself and those challenges. Instead of, if I fail, I am going to be a failure, or if I fail, it means I'm not good enough, smart enough, talented enough, replace that with, if I fail, I'll just try a different approach. I'm not a math person, or I'm not a language person. You can say, it's always taken me a little bit more time to understand maths or languages. They don't come easily to me, but it doesn't mean that I cannot learn them. The most detrimental belief of all when it comes to embracing challenges is, I just can't do it. It's simply who I am. And I get it. There are a lot of situations where this is a good self-belief that's based on self-awareness and trials. I respect that. But very often it's not the case. Stating something like this really prevents you from moving forward or getting on a new learning curve. So a different belief to replace that could be, I can't do it yet, but I'm gonna get there. Simply and yet. That's it. All these statements have one thing in common. They don't connect your identity to the performance, but they connect your identity to the values of curiosity, learning, resilience, persistence, determination. And I hope we agree that values make a much better compass than a one-time performance or a one-time emotion. To sum up, we all experience emotions, self-doubt, feelings of failure. There is nothing wrong with that. The problem starts when we start identifying with those. Don't let your emotions dictate the way. Don't let them use you, use them instead. And the second aspect is connecting your identity to performance and outcomes. Aiming for a specific outcome does not have to affect your identity unless you allow the result to define you. Don't fall for this trap. Instead, try to cultivate the growth mindset, and you will see that you're gonna feel much more free and encouraged and empowered to face and embrace challenges and pursue your own mastery. If you found this video helpful, consider sharing it with your friends and subscribing to this channel. Also, please do share your reflection in the comments. I read them all. Thanks so much for being with me today, and see you the next time.